Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we are diving deep into the silicon heart of modern technological supremacy. In the high-stakes arena of supercomputing, where nations compete for the ability to simulate the very fabric of reality, a new monarch has officially ascended the throne. Its name is El Capitan. Housed within the secure confines of the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California, this machine is not merely a faster calculator. It is a civilization-scale instrument, a digital leviathan that has shattered the speed barriers defining the limits of human computation. As of November 2024, El Capitan is officially the world's fastest supercomputer. But to define this machine by numbers alone is to miss the point. El Capitan is the digital guardian of the United States nuclear arsenal, a crystal ball for climate science, and a crucible for the next generation of artificial intelligence. Over the next 20 minutes, we are going to take apart this machine, piece by piece, to understand how it works, why it costs $600 million, and how it simulates the apocalypse so that we never have to live it. Let us begin with the sheer scale of this achievement. For years, computer scientists stared at a theoretical horizon known as the exascale barrier. This was the ability to perform 1 quintillion calculations per second. It was considered the 4-minute mile of computer science, a boundary that required overcoming massive hurdles in power consumption, heat management, and data latency. The United States crossed this line first with the Frontier system at Oak Ridge, followed by the Aurora system at Argonne. But El Capitan was always designed to be the finisher. When it came online, it did not just inch past its predecessors, it roared past them. In November 2024, the Top 500 list, which is the official ranking of the world's most powerful non-distributed computer systems, confirmed that El Capitan posted a score of 1.742 exaflops. To put that number into perspective, if every single person on Earth, all 8 billion of us, performed 1 calculation per second, day and night, without stopping, it would take the entire human race approximately 7 years to do what El Capitan does in 1 single second. This achievement cemented a historic exascale hat-trick for the Department of Energy. The United States now holds the top 3 spots in the world, with El Capitan, Frontier, and Aurora, a display of computational dominance unseen since the early days of the Cray era. Now, let us look under the hood, because El Capitan is not built like a traditional computer. It marks a paradigm shift in how high-performance computing hardware is architected. The secret weapon lies in a partnership between Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and AMD. In previous generations of supercomputers, a compute node typically consisted of a central processing unit, the CPU, and several graphics processing units, the GPUs, connected by a bus like PCIe. While effective, this design created a bottleneck. Data had to be constantly shuffled back and forth between the CPU's memory and the GPU's memory. El Capitan eliminates this bottleneck with the AMD Instinct MI300A Accelerated Processing Unit, or APU. This is the world's first data center APU. It fuses the CPU and GPU cores onto a single package, sharing a unified memory pool. Specifically, the 24 Zen 4 CPU cores and the CDNA 3 GPU compute units share 128 gigabytes of high-bandwidth memory. This means there is no copying of data between components. The CPU and GPU can work on the same data simultaneously with zero latency penalties. The scale of this implementation is staggering. El Capitan contains over 44,000 of these MI300A chips, boasting a combined total of 11 million cores. Hosting 44,000 nuclear-grade processors requires a chassis that can survive the heat. El Capitan is built on the HPE Cray EX architecture, a liquid-cooled cabinet-based design. Air cooling is impossible at this density. Instead, water circulates directly through the blades, capturing heat at the source. The water leaves the racks hot enough to heat buildings, a feature the laboratory actually utilizes to improve facility efficiency. Despite its immense power, the machine is packed into 87 compute racks, occupying a footprint roughly the size of 2 tennis courts. But a supercomputer is only as fast as its ability to move data between nodes. If processor A finishes a calculation but has to wait for processor B to send data, the system stalls. To solve this, Capitan uses the HPE Slingshot 11 interconnect. This Ethernet-based fabric offers 200 gigabits per second of bandwidth per port, but more importantly, it includes specialized hardware for congestion control. It functions like a smart traffic system for data packets, ensuring that small, critical messages do not get stuck behind massive file transfers. One of the unsung heroes of Capitan is its unique storage solution, known as the Rabbit system. In traditional setups, if a node needs to save data, it sends it to a central storage server far away. At exascale, this creates a traffic jam. The Rabbit modules are near-node storage, meaning solid-state storage is embedded directly into the compute racks. This allows Capitan to burst massive amounts of simulation data to local storage instantly, allowing the processors to get back to calculating without waiting for the hard drives to catch up. So why did the government spend $600 million on this computer? The answer lies in the Stockpile Stewardship Program. Since 1992, the United States has observed a moratorium on underground nuclear explosive testing. This creates a unique scientific challenge. How do you ensure that a nuclear warhead, built in the 1980s, will still work today? Materials age, plastics degrade, metals corrode, isotopes decay. Without the ability to blow one up to check, scientists must simulate the explosion. Capitan is the first machine powerful enough to simulate a nuclear detonation in full 3D resolution. Previous systems often had to rely on 2D approximations or lower fidelity models. The system can model how microscopic cracks or rust in a warhead's casing might affect the fusion reaction nanosecond by nanosecond. It ensures that the weapons are safe, meaning they won't detonate accidentally, secure, meaning they cannot be detonated by unauthorized persons, and reliable, meaning they will work if ordered. Furthermore, the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory is home to the National Ignition Facility, or NIF, which famously achieved fusion ignition recently. Capitan is the engine that will analyze the data from NIF. Fusion experiments happen in billionths of a second. Understanding the complex hydrodynamics of the imploding fuel pellet requires exascale power. Capitan will help design the next generation of fusion targets, pushing humanity closer to unlimited clean energy. While funded by the National Nuclear Security Administration, Capitan is a dual-use asset. When it isn't certifying the stockpile, its cycles are dedicated to open science that benefits the world. One major area is the cancer moonshot. Capitan is being used to simulate the RAS protein, a molecule found in cell membranes that is linked to 30% of all human cancers. RAS proteins are notoriously difficult to drug because they vibrate and change shape constantly. Capitan can simulate the movement of the RAS protein atom by atom over timeframes that were previously impossible. By identifying pockets that open up on the protein's surface for mere microseconds, scientists can design drugs that fit into those pockets to shut the cancer down. Another critical application is climate change modeling. Current climate models often divide the Earth into grid squares that are 10 to 50 kilometers wide. This is too coarse to accurately model cloud formation, which is one of the biggest variables in climate prediction. Capitan allows for kilometer-scale modeling, capable of simulating individual storm systems and cloud physics across the entire globe. This granularity provides a much more accurate forecast of regional climate shifts, droughts, and extreme weather events. In material science, the system is searching for new materials for batteries and solar panels. By simulating the quantum mechanical properties of thousands of potential chemical compounds, El Capitan can identify promising candidates for high-efficiency energy storage without needing to synthesize them in a lab first. El Capitan also marks the moment where supercomputing meets artificial intelligence. The AMD MI300A chips are inherently designed for AI workloads. This same matrix math capabilities used to simulate fluid dynamics in a nuclear blast are perfect for training large language models. Researchers are pioneering cognitive simulation. This involves using a neural network to steer a traditional physics simulation. For example, a physics simulation might take days to calculate a dead-end scenario. An AI model running alongside the simulation can predict that the calculation is going nowhere and instruct the system to stop and try a different parameter instead. This hybrid approach dramatically speeds up scientific discovery, making El Capitan not just a number cruncher, but a smart scientist in its own right. Despite consuming nearly 30 megawatts of power, enough to power a small town, El Capitan is surprisingly green. On the Green 500 list, which ranks supercomputers by energy efficiency, El Capitan ranks in the top 20, an incredible feat for a machine of its sheer size. It achieves approximately 59 gigaflops per watt. It is vastly more efficient than its predecessor, Sierra. To do the same work as El Capitan using Sierra's technology would have required a power plant's worth of electricity that would be economically impossible to sustain. The liquid cooling system is the primary driver of this efficiency, saving millions of gallons of water and megawatts of electricity that would otherwise be used for chillers and air conditioning. Finally, let us consider the competitive landscape. How does El Capitan stack up against the rest of the world? Currently, the United States holds the top 3 positions. El Capitan is number 1 with 1.74 exaflops. Frontier is second with 1.35 exaflops, and Aurora is third with 1.01 exaflops. Following them are systems like the cloud-based Eagle from Microsoft and the Japanese supercomputer Fugaku. However, there is the shadow of China. It is widely believed that China has built exascale systems, specifically the Tianhe 3 and Ocean Light, that may rival or exceed Frontier and El Capitan. However, China has stopped submitting benchmark results to the top 500 list to avoid attracting further US sanctions on semiconductor technology. Thus, El Capitan is the verified fastest, though a dark horse competitor may exist behind closed doors. As we look to the future, computer scientists are already looking beyond the exascale era towards zetascale. A zetascale computer would be 1,000 times faster than El Capitan. Achieving this with current technology is impossible, as it would require a nuclear power plant just to turn it on. Getting there will require new physics, perhaps optical computing, neuromorphic chips, or the maturation of quantum computing. But for now, El Capitan sits alone at the top. It is a monument to engineering, a shield for national security, and a telescope into the molecular and galactic unknown. For the next few years, the road to the future runs through Livermore, California. Thanks for listening to Fun Facts Online.